Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Authenticity the Hard Way. I am your host, Asha Zalika, and I am so grateful that you have decided to spend time with me today. If you are joining me for the first time, I want to welcome you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking me out, seeing what I got to talk about, and I appreciate your time. Time is something that we can't get back, and I am grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with me. If you've been with me before, of course, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. I pray that all that you have listened to and heard thus far is impacting your life in some type of positive way. Having said that, let's talk about some more stuff. Today, I want to talk about karma. Karmic relationships, the law of attraction, and how these impact our journey to self-authentication. Is that the right word? Authenticity. Yeah. Okay, jumping ahead a little bit. So, as usual, I will be speaking about a relationship experience, because I will be speaking about one of my experiences, because that is what this podcast is about. It's about experiencing our way into the highest version of ourselves, and having the understanding that it is through experience that we grow, we mature, we evolve. There's a quote that says, experience is the best teacher, and it is. Oftentimes I don't know if distracted is the right word, but that's the only one that's coming to mind. We get distracted by the severity of experiences and forget or do not realize that the experience is for our good. Always when things happen, when good things happen, we could see how we grow in the good things because it feels good. But when it's painful, when it's devastating, when the experience is traumatic, oftentimes we get lost in the pain of the experience. And some people never come out of that pain or trauma, even though the experience itself has been over for years. That's not something that we're taught, right? It's just not something that we're taught. This is something that you learn through experience. So, let me share this experience with you. Well, first, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this first. And this might be a two-parter. I don't know. I'm actually just winging it right now because I did take a couple notes, but this experience is very fresh. Like a week ago. Fresh. Very intense, very powerful. And because I understand life, I understand how my seasons work, I understand the power of intention, my intention, and because I've evolved to this point, I understand that this experience had to take place at this time. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. But it was hard. So if my voice cracks or if I start to cry, don't mind me. I'm grateful. So let's get some definitions here first. And I will include the website where I got my information from in the description of this episode. So always, if I say something or make reference to something, do your own research. Check it out for yourself. Wikipedia is Wikipedia because people have their opinions on stuff, and these are my experiences, my opinion, but I do like to research. So I always fact check or, look it up for yourself. So having said that, let's talk about what karma is. And this is from WebMD. Karma, there's a definition in Hinduism and Buddhism. I'm going to give you the Hindu definition first. And it says the relationship between a person's mental or physical action and the consequence following that action. And then we have the phrases, what goes around comes around, you reap what you sow. And so it's the consequences of actions or mental or thought. In a nutshell, it's the consequence of what you think or what you do. And the Buddhist definition is similar to it. It says that karma is the principle of cause and effect, the result of an action, which can be verbal, mental, or physical, and it is determined not only by the act, but also by the intention. So the reason why you did what you did, the reason why we say what we say, is karma. And then we have what is a karmic relationship. And karmic relationships are defined as intense connections characterized by passion and drama. People drawn to these intense relationships can feel an instant connection to their partner, but they find it challenging to maintain a healthy or stable relationship within them. Another definition is feeling a strong, intense, and instant connection with another individual, turbulence with plenty of highs and lows in the relationship, and red flags, which could be signs of an abusive relationship. And that is the type of relationship that I found myself in. And then also I want to kind of touch a little bit on the law of attraction, because the law of attraction basically, what I heard was that thing that you want also wants you. And what you think about the most, backed by intense intention or intense emotion, will find its way to you. So you're sending out that vibration, and it is reaching that thing, that person, that desire, and eventually it will make its way to you. So having laid the foundation for that, let me get into this experience. In 2000 and the end of 2008, my life was just a wreck. My husband had left me and the kids. The kids took off, started staying at a friend's house, and I was to say I was broken is an understatement. I was shattered, completely shattered. I was drinking a lot. I was trying to find, because I wanted my husband back. He did not. He was happy doing what he was doing with whom he was doing it with. But I was in a everyday state of shock, because I couldn't believe that my beautiful marriage and the happiness that I had with my husband was just gone in an instant. It would have been better had he just taken off and not come back, but he was coming back and forth, like back and forth and back and forth. So that made it even worse. And I was desperately trying to fill that void, that put someone in that place so that I wouldn't feel so broken, so unwanted, so worthless. So I started seeing a guy who was, for all intent purposes, kind of crazy. Ended up sleeping in a shed, a tool shed, and drinking every day, panhandling for alcohol. Until one morning I woke up and looked at myself in the mirror and was disgusted by the woman that I saw. And so I made a call to my aunt in New York and I asked her to help me. And so she immediately sent me a ticket, got me a ticket to fly out to New York. So I got on the airplane, got to New York, and had to become, and this is kind of the story of my life, is that I was like a chameleon, and I had to become whatever I needed to become to fit into whatever situation I was in. So there was no healing, no closure, no nothing. It was just a break from what was going on here, immediately jumping into sophisticated Broadway champagne lunches, plays, high society type living in Manhattan, New York, with my aunt, who's very sociable, she was just a socialite, a social butterfly, and I am an introvert. I was an introverted, broken, destroyed shell of a woman. And I did it. I got to New York and I became everything I needed to become to mask the pain. And I was drinking a lot because she had wine all over the place, so I was drinking a lot of wine. However, in the recesses of my mind, I still wanted that void of my husband's absence filled. So what I did was I created a man. I created a tall man, dark skin, bald head, strong features, with a very deep voice and a very strong presence. And I gave this man life in my thoughts. He was an actual being. When I got sad, standing in the shower, crying, missing my kids, wanting to go home, but didn't have a home to actually go back to, just missing the life that I had, I would stand in the shower and I would cry. And I would imagine him coming and consoling me, coming from behind, putting his arms around me, holding me, telling me that he was coming for me and that he would save me, that everything would be all right. Every day, every night, when I would lay down on that pull-out couch, I would wait for him, beg him to come, and I would cry myself to sleep. Within my mind, he was holding me. Whenever, like when I got my CNA certification, that was a joy and a high for me. So he experienced that joy and that high with me. So like he was my companion, totally in my mind, with all the intention, all the desire, all the passion that I could muster up, that gave me hope to make it through every single day that I was out there. And I was in New York for me see, we got there December. 9 months. And in that 9 months, I totally transformed myself into what my aunt wanted me to be. Got my CNA certification, started working at the top nursing facility in New York. All the while showing the face of a happy, strong woman, confident, all of that, pouring myself into taking care of the elderly. But inside, I was crumbling. I mean, literally, I was crumbling. Where within me there was even any more to crumble, I was still crumbling. And he was my support. He was my help. He was my lover. He was my savior. He was maybe savior was wrong, because of course. And my faith in God never moved. And God was always there. I talked to him just like I would talk to this guy. And one day, in September 2009, my daughter called and she said, "Mom, I can't do this anymore." So we don't know where Junior is. Junior is my son who's gone on. My dad keeps showing up, disappearing. Half the time we don't have food. I'm trying to get my brothers to go to school. I'm trying to do what I need to do. She was 17 years old. 16, I think. "I need you to come home." And my first response was, "My aunt will be so mad at me if I come back, if I leave here." So in that part, just right there, I was terrified of going back to my children because I knew that my aunt would be disappointed. She did not, she was just dead set against everything. She wanted me to work, save up enough money and get my kids and send for them to go to New York, however long it would take. And New York's cost of living is a lot higher than San Bernardino. So that would have been a whole lot of working, It would have been a long time for me to have been able to send for all 4 of my kids. But my daughter being her strong self, so she was my mother. Our dynamic was insane. And that's another podcast. But she said, "Mom, it doesn't matter how she feels. It doesn't matter what she thinks. We need you here." And that was enough. She got me a ticket. And within 3 or 4 hours, I was heading back to California. I did it so fast. I arrived. I left New York the way I arrived in an instant. Like, my aunt was out getting her hair done and taking care of some errands. And by the time she got back, I was already up in the air. No explanation, no nothing. That's me. That was I'm a runner. When it's time to go, I'm just going to go. Touchdown back in California, and it was terrible. And too, on a side note from that, my ex-husband we were still communicating, and probably the major push, more so than my daughter's need for me, my children's need for me, was the fact that he was saying, just come back, we'll make it work, come back, which is what I wanted. So my children needing me, my ex-husband saying that he wanted me to come back. Yeah, I was coming back. I went back, only to get there and have him say, "No, I don't want you. This is not what I want." So I'm back in California. I'm still broken, but I still have this man in my thought life. And everything crumbled. I'm using crumble because that's literally like everything just fell apart. It was one tower moment after another. But I kept pouring myself into the thought of this man for years. 12, almost 13 years. In and out of relationships, still looking for, but at this point, I'm looking for this man that I've created in my head. I'm in every face of every man that would walk past me. I'm trying to find this guy in my head. And then, October 2022, made the strong decision to strike out on my own, and he and I made the decision to move to Motel 6, and create a new foundation for us. So proud of myself for making that decision. That was an epic move. I left a man who was willing to give me everything I needed. He had just got a trucking job. He would be driving across states, and he wanted to take care of me and my son. Even knowing I had told him, like, this relationship is not going to work between us. It won't work. Even with him knowing that this relationship was not going to work, he still wanted to take care of me. So, put this in perspective. Here's a man that was willing to give me everything that I wanted, and all I have to do is just accept him and accept the situation. But the thought of being in a situation, a relationship with him, made my soul cringe. Like, no, and he was not a bad man. He was a good man, really good man, caring, but so totally opposite of who I am. And I was searching for me. This was coming right off of me leaving after reuniting with my ex-husband, trying to make that work. It didn't work. And I ran from him because the whole everything around our relationship was threatening to me. Fit like I tried to commit. I was going to kill myself. And I ran from that, and manifested this man who wanted to take care of me. So I said, no, I'm not going to compromise myself. This was my major move to find my true, authentic self. Although I had been doing this for years, trying to find out who I truly am, that moment where I decided, no, I'm not going to follow this yellow brick road to materialism and forsake finding me. So it kind of sort of made me and my son homeless again. But we weren't on the streets. We were in Motel 6 and having a wonderful time. I was so proud of myself because I was doing it. I was using my money to pay for that room every week, and happy. And lo and behold, one day, I'm in the office, and I look over my shoulder. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how it happened, because it's one of those eerie, weird situations where you're just in there. You know this is happening, but there's a part of you that's looking like, I don't believe this is happening. I look over my shoulder. I get ready to turn to walk out of the office, and through the door walks the man that I had created in my head. My life stopped at that moment, and he stopped. He walked in. It's like 6'6", super tall man. He stopped, and our eyes met, and I promise you, I felt the earth shake. I'm not exaggerating. This was So you go back to the definition of a karmic relationship, right? It's intense connection. I'm going to go back. Let me pull that back up. Strong, intense, instant connection with the other individual. That I'm looking at the embodiment of the man that I had created in my head 13 years ago. Butterflies, dragonflies, I don't know what all was fluttering off in it. My body was like I was having an out of body experience. Like I'm in this, I'm looking at this man that I have been seeing and talking to and holding him, holding me, walk through this door, turn around and look at me in my face. But then there's a part of me that's hovering up over me looking at this whole situation. And I froze. I mean, I can't get it. I can't put enough words into that moment. And when, kind of came back to myself, I just looked at him, and he walked towards me, and I walked past him, and I promise you electricity went between the both of us as I passed. And I went back in the room, and I sat down and tried to process what had just happened. And at the best of my ability, I couldn't process it. But I could feel it. And it was powerful. Scary, powerful. I had enough sense to know that something was getting ready to happen. And then I just start seeing him every single day. I'd come out of my room. We were on the 3rd floor. He was on the 2nd floor. We'd come out of the rooms at the same time. And he'd look up. I look down. We see each other. I'd go across the street to get coffee or whatever. He's going across the street. I'm coming back from work. It was boom, boom, boom every single day for like a week. And then we're both back in the office. There was a guest there. This is funny. There was a guest there that I just got back from work. I was going back down to recharge the car, the key card for the door. And this man walks out of his room, and he walked past me, and he was angry like I had to move. I moved because I felt his anger. I thought, oh boy, somebody finna get it. So I went in. Azra let me in. My son let me in. I was like, I gotta go downstairs. Be right back. So I go down to the office, and this man the angry man is in there, and he's going off on the lady. Because his key won't work. He can't get into the room. He's tired. He wants to take a shower. He wants to have his cerveza and fix it. And so she slid the card again, told him to try it again. If it didn't work, she would go up and try and fix it for him. So he goes out, and I'm standing there talking to her, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. And it was one of those eerie, I'm telling y'all, my self in real time at times when things are happening is unbelievable. I look over my shoulder, and the man of my thoughts walks in. He stopped, and I looked over my shoulder, like, oh wow. And I wanted to talk something personal with the lady. So I told him that he could go ahead and talk with her. So he's like, well, no, go ahead. You could go ahead and finish. I said, no, I need to discuss some personal stuff with her. So he said, okay. And we switched spots, and I'm over in the corner watching him. Now, before he starts speaking to her, the angry man walks in. And I am going to pause this. I'm almost out of time on this app. But please stay tuned for part 2, where I can finish this up and we could get down to the real meaning of this experience. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will talk to y'all in part 2. Oh, yeah. Revelations, RevelationzHet.org is my website. Check it out. Be blessed. Love yourself. See you in part. Keep saying see. Talk to you in part 2.